Hello. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing one of the absolute easiest ways to budget. So this is great for beginners, for people who are free spirits and hate restrictions. It's just a great way to get you into that habit of paying yourself first. So this is based on the Rich Dad, Poor Dad book. So even though this was literally a tiny paragraph towards the end of the book, it's such a critical message to really help us become financially empowered. So Robert Kiyosaki calls this the 3 piggy bank system. So I'll show you what this budget looks like and how it works. So as you can see, firstly, there's this concept of pay yourself first. So people who budget like this, the idea is that before you spend your salary, you want to pay yourself first for your future. So what Rich Dad recommends is out of 100% of your salary, you want to put aside 10% for savings, where savings is your emergency fund, your rainy day fund. So people call it all kinds of things. I personally like to call it the water bucket to put out fires. And then 10% is for investing. So this is very much the perspective of Rich Dad, and that you don't just want to save, but you want to grow your wealth. And finally, 10% is for charity. And this is based on a belief that, in fact, many wealthy people share. It's come up in many books that I've read, which is the key to growing your wealth and becoming wealthy is actually giving. So if you find that when you take out 30% of your income, if you're on a very low income, if you find it's not enough to live off, then you can reduce this percent. So you could make it 5% each, you could make it 2% each. The key thing is it's that habit of putting aside money for your future, whether that's future protecting you and saving you in a crisis, or future with investing and growing your wealth. And charity is just something that will honestly will just reward you so much in your life. So for those of you who aren't great at maths, I'm going to show you how you do this. How do you actually work out 10% of the wealth, or et cetera, et cetera. It's actually very, very simple. All you need is a calculator, which is on all our phones now, so no excuses. And so let's say in a fortnight or bi-weekly, if you're an American, let's say you make $1,000. So to work out 10%, it's simply 10 divided by 100. So if I look at what that is, 10 divided by 100 is 0.1. So 10% is equivalent to 0.1 multiplied by whatever your income is. So in other words, if I'm making $1,000 a fortnight, it's 1,000 times 0.1. So that means $100 out of 1,000 is for my savings. And then another $100 out of 1,000 is for investing, and $100 is for charity. So let's say your income is really low, and if you're taking out that $300, it doesn't leave you enough to cover your expenses. So you can make the percent less. So let's say you only want to put aside 5%. So it's 5 divided by 100. That's 0.05. So that times what you're making, $1,000, that is $50. So in other words, you're only going to be trying to live off 1,000 minus 50 times 3, which is 150. So another way to look at it is my $1,000, if I'm taking out 10% plus 10% plus 10%, so that's 30%, I'm left with 70%. So that is times 70% divided by 100. That means I'm able to work with 700 for just all my daily expenses, my rent, etc., etc. And I just don't touch what's left. So if you work out what the amount is that you have to actually live off minus paying yourself first, that's where you can work out, well, is that enough for me to live off? And if it isn't, then you can just reduce the percent that you're putting aside. 5%, 2% even. The key thing is it's that habit, the actual habit of saving for your future, so you're not in a financial crisis, for growing your wealth in terms of investing. And that's it. It's as simple as that. So let me know in comments if you give this a try and how you find it. But for those of you who are very disciplined and want something just a bit more, specific, I will be sharing in a few more videos other ways you can budget. My name is Ray Harnity, also known as Ray, and I just love learning, especially about business and finance. And I wanted to empower others financially, especially because I believe it's one of the ways that we can make a greater impact in the world. If you enjoy this, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others.